Okay, I'm going to do another quick tutorial here just on some of the, this will be helpful for when we get into audio for video, as well as just we're going to be doing a radio podcast coming up. So this is one way that we can go about recording that. Now at the school we've got a couple different devices that are kind of neat. Right now this one doesn't have a card in it, but this is the H1. We do also have windshields that can go on the top of them. And if we want to go around, oh, I've got a windshield right here. You can put the windshield on it quickly. And oh, I apologize again. My my webcam is kind of going yellow. It's an old piece of junk. But then if you're in a video, remember you got to start it with a snap so you can time it up. But then you can have a wireless microphone and interview people who might be farther away. You don't have to worry about a cord connecting you to the camera. It's recording it right to here. You take out from the side here the micro SD, pop it into your computer, bring the video and audio in, and you can record something like that. Now at home I don't have one of the mini tripods, but you can also on the back here connect a mini tripod to it. So for audio podcasting, on the side of it here as well, it's got an audio in. So if you have the right cable, we can set it up. You can record the talking first. You can hook up the cable, record songs off YouTube from your phone or from the computer. You'd have to go out from the audio out where you plug your headphones in into here. And you want to make sure it's got, similar to how we talked about redlining and clipping on Audition. You want to make sure on the Zoom it's got the same thing. It's got a little meter on the side of it, and you can adjust the input volume. What's nice about the H1s, I'm not sure if they all have it, but on the back there's an auto leveling. I have that on now. So if I all of a sudden start talking really loud, then this will readjust the level and bring me down on there so that it's not clipping, which is kind of nice. It's a little bit tricky with a band though, because if the band plays quiet and loud and quiet and loud, the auto leveling, as soon as they're come back in really heavy, it's going to bring the song way down. So without that, there are input level buttons on the side that you can adjust the input level. Now that's the one device that we have. And it's just a little pull on the side to turn that on and off. Another device that we have, this is the Zoom H1. So it has got underneath that windshield, you are recording actually a stereo track, so a left and right stereo. It picks it up there with the those left and right microphones. This H4, this is an H4. We've got a couple of these, and I usually keep this one at school too. I brought it home just for this tutorial. It's called an H4 because it can do 4 tracks simultaneous. It can record from these, so that's one stereo track, so left and right. That counts as 2. And then on the bottom it's got 2 inputs. It's got an XLR and a 1/4 inch like guitar patch cable input as well. So on this, I don't know if I can do this with showing it to the monitor. No, it's a little bit tricky. I'll post a video. There's a good video on how to switch it. Right now it's on stereo. You can, which is the stereo tracks. You can switch it to, so now it's switched to stereo, the bottom 2 tracks. But by going into the menu, and I'll do that in a minute and maybe post that other video, you can switch it to record all 4 at once, which is what I think, this is how I would, in our classroom anyway, record my audio podcast. I've posted videos for the radio station showing other ways, but we've got a nice radio mixing board and Audacity on a computer there and everything. So this is the way to go in our classroom. Lastly, this one's mine, not the school's, but I can also bring in, whoops, what way am I going here? This is the Zoom R16. Now, I haven't used this one as much. I mainly record on my Boss BR1600 over there, which is almost the exact same idea as this. This thing's a little bit more compact and portable, and it also uses SD cards, whereas the Boss BR1600 uses an internal hard drive. So this is kind of nice too, because you can record 8 channels simultaneously, so 8 different instruments, while the one thing that this does that can't do, that either the H1 or H4 can't do, is you can listen to the playback of one of the other tracks or 5 of the other tracks while recording the 6th track or the 7th track. And so you're listening to those and it's not impacting the recording. So this thing's really neat. If anyone wants to try recording a piano song or a guitar song, acoustic mainly, I'll bring this in. Give me a little bit of heads up though, because I would have to bring in the guitar and the piano and all the cables that we would need also. So, for setting up my podcast, I am going to first go into menu. It's got a little scroll at the side. I'm going to go into mode, and I'm going to pick 4-channel recording. So now it's got a left and right for each thing here. Now the one thing that we got to do, whoops, it's not on the screen. I don't think you can see the screen anyways. Let me see if I can reset my... it's got a left and right, as well as 1 and 2. All these buttons down the side here are lit up. That's how you know it's going to record all 4 channels. As well as up at the top here on the microphone part, the light is on for 4-channel recording. Now, we've got some of these Y cables in class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up this to the bottom. So I've got it going into my H1. And then I'm going to hook up the headphone side to, in this case, you could do it to your phone and run off YouTube, to the computer that's in the classroom, run off YouTube. What I'm going to do is hook it up to my iPod and play a track there. So, it's not giving me the levels yet. I just hit record and it is now picking up my talking levels. My levels aren't too loud. Actually, my right is a little bit loud because I'm more on this side. And right on the side are the record levels. So I can turn these down. So I've turned them down and they're quite further down. I can keep pressing. Let me just get the mic input. And, sorry, there we go. Now I'm turning them down and they're quite down. I must have just been talking quieter the first time. But you hit the one that you want to turn down and it's down. Now, I would also test the audio that you're going to play. You can do one of 2 things. Turn it down on the device or turn in the input level. Maybe what I'll do to start here is I'll just feature a local band. There's a great local band, Cursed Arrows. I'm going to play some Cursed Arrows. Cursed Arrows used to be local. They moved away and now they're in Toronto. So anyways, they used to be local. They're amazing. Their new album's amazing. I'm going to hit play on this. You won't be able to hear it because it's going direct in. and I just want to see my input. Now, see, it's flashing like crazy. I don't know if you can tell on the recording, but I'm going to switch this. I'm going to turn way down. Whoops. I'm going to turn way down my input level. I am at 10 and it's still way high. So I'm going to turn down my audio level on my device. There, now it's way lower. That's what I want. So that looks much better. Now I've got a good sound coming in. Now I'm going to start my podcast. I'm already... Oh, I've just armed it. Let me see if I can turn that on. So when I've hit record the first time, I've just armed it to kind of get my levels right. I hit record a second time, and the time starts moving. That's how I know I'm actually recording. So this little bit here I'm going to want to cut out, but I'll do a fake little podcast. I'd set it up on my nice tripod here. I'm going to pause this. Now, one issue when we're setting up our podcast is when we go into the song. I'll get to this in a minute. You're listening to CKMS 102.7 Mono a Mono. We're going to get into some brand new music by a local KW band who has just recently moved out of the KW area. They're now residing in Toronto. We're going to get to a band called the Cursed Arrows. They've just released an album called Rebirth. Cursed Arrows are known for their heavy guitars, heavy drums, and mainly that's what composes most of their music. But on this new album, Rebirth, it's a completely different style of music. They've got some orchestral sounds in the background, some piano, and they've gone in a completely different direction. I think that this will be in the top 10 of this year for CKMS. This is a fabulous song. The song that we're going to go into right now is Near Death Daydream, right here on CKMS 102.7. Okay, I'm playing the song. It's recording the song on here, but I can't turn off, oops, and I just poked it. I can't turn off the microphones on here. So while it's recording the song, it's also, we might be saying with my partner, if I had a partner that I was doing my show with, and you might be able to choose a partner. Okay, what are we going to go into next? Next, do you want to play an older Cursed Arrows song, or do you want to play a different band, or what should we do once this song's done? All this talking is being picked up by the microphones that we'll see in a minute when I import it into Audition. So when I import this into Audition, I'm going to want to cut that talking from my audio, because that's not what I want in my radio podcast. I just want me talking, introducing the song, and then the song. Now, there are other ways and better ways to use savefrom.net and things like that to get audio right off YouTube videos and things like that. I'm going to say let's go this way just because some of those things are a little bit sketchy and some of the ads on those sites aren't always perfectly appropriate, especially for class. So let's do it this way. Generally, taking someone's audio, especially from YouTube and stuff like that, is copyright infringement, kind of stealing the song from them. For what we're doing, we're broadcasting this right to CKMS. This is going to be a radio podcast where we're featuring that band. So CKMS pays a SOCAN license every year, which allows us to broadcast these songs. So for us, it's not copyright infringement because we are actually paying the artist. We pay SOCAN, and then SOCAN does a survey of what's been played, and then they end up paying each of the artists based upon plays and stuff like that. So it isn't necessarily copyright infringement with what we're doing here. So ethically, you can relax a little bit. Okay, now that one, it started into the next song, so I'm gonna pause it. I might want to delete that. Maybe okay, we're back here on CKMS 102.7 Mono a Mono. Hey Bill, wasn't that a great track? Yeah. And we continue our podcast on. We want to make our podcast 15 minutes or 30 minutes in length, because the time slot is 30 minutes that we want to fill, and we want to try and feature new music coming into the station. Okay, I just made myself smaller. My USB is my webcam is kind of junk, but whatever. This was a class SD card, so it's got some movie files that somebody else shot in the class, some stereo files. It's got all this stuff set up. I did a 4-channel recording, so it should be, my podcast should be 2 channels actually, in this 4-channel one. Oh man, there's already been a whole bunch in here. I'm thinking it's gonna be these. Good idea to format your card before you do it. Looks like there's nothing in any of this other stuff. So I'm guessing it's probably that top one there. Yeah. I'm gonna take these 2 items. I'm gonna copy them, and I'm gonna move them to the student drive. So this is going to go under I do have some Mono a Mono radio podcast, but this is just my podcast tutorial. So I'm going to put them in here. And now I've got my 2 files in here. This is on my student drive, let's say. I'm going to bring these into Audition. These seemed right because when I brought them in, they were about 5 minutes. The song was maybe about 3.5 minutes, and I did some talking too. Okay, I've got my files in there. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to bring them into track 1 and 2. And so what it looks like here is this is my music. Ooh, I'm not sure what happened with the left there. And this is my talking. And if I mute this one, I can double check that. Little podcast. I'd set it up on my nice tripod here. I'm going to pause this. See? Now, so there's me talking. One issue when we're setting up our podcast. Now, if I mute that one and move it forward a bit, this should be my track. On a day like any other day, our heads were in a haze. Okay, so here's my podcast. Now, I did some checking at the beginning. Let me see if I can find right where I started. I bet you it's right here because I get all energetic when I get going. You're listening to CKMS 102.7 Mono a Mono. We're going to get into... So those pops were me breathing into the mic. I took off the screen. You can put this screen on or just have it off to the side so you're not breathing right into the mic. That was me breathing into the mic, so I've got those pops. And now, unfortunately, I would need to re-record that. You can hook headphones up and monitor while you're doing it. But, so, it looks like right about here is where I went into the song. So let's Death Daydream right here on CKMS 102.7. No, I'm going to mute this. Okay. I'm playing the song. See? It's recording the song. This is all the part that I don't want to I can't turn off. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to bring this back here. I'm going to split this right here. Oops. What am I doing here? I'm going to split this right here. And it looks like the song comes back somewhere around here. And I start talking again. Doing here. So ethically, you can relax a little bit. Okay. Now that one, it started into the next song. So I'm gonna pause it. I might want to delete that. Maybe okay. We're back here on CKMS. Okay. So let's suppose I was coming in late, and I want to zoom in on this part over here. Somewhere there I said, okay, we're back. Delete that. Maybe okay, we're back here on CKMS. Okay, I'm not gonna zoom way in and make it all perfect, but I'll come back to here. Split. Zoom back out. I don't need any of this audio, so I'm just gonna delete that. Hit delete, cut that out. This might be my outro. I might need to play with this a little bit. I'm a little unsure as to why it didn't pick up the left and right. I'll have to explore that a little bit. And we should be picking up our left and right, and we can even up here in the mix cut out any unwanted stuff here. Oops, what am I doing? There we go. Split. When you click right on the line, it kind of messes it up. Split. I'm going to delete this part. I'm not sure where the song ends over here. Okay, right about there. Looks like it ends right there. Split. Delete this part. If I want to, right, I can add a fade to the beginning or to the ending of it there. Whoops. Fade in the song, and you can talk over the beginning. Whatever you want. You can move it around if you want to talk while the beginning is going. If there's parts that you want to remove, remember speeding it up. If we're trying to fit it all in 15 minutes and our talking's too slow and we're at 15:05, grab a little part here and speed up the talking a little bit. Try not to go too much so that you sound weird, but you can do that as well. Then we're gonna mix down our overall MP3. New album, Rebirth. We should have a full podcast here. Completely different style of music. They've got some orchestral sounds in the. They've gone in a completely different direction. I think that this will be in the CKMS. This is a fabulous song. The song that we're going to go into right now is Near Death Daydream. Right here on CKMS 102.7. Like any other day, our heads were in a haze. We'd been there for a decade. As we walked in the woods in the shade. Anyways, this is an absolutely fabulous song. I suggest checking it out. Cursed Arrows, Near Death Daydream. I'll turn it down a little bit there. But that's how we're going to put together our podcast. So we can, again, just record them using our H4Ns or H4s. Some are H4Ns, some are just H4s. Bring it into Audition. Mix it down so that everything's perfect. What we can even do is we should be able to record it right on our phone. If you can bring in those MP3s of the songs another way, using a website or something. I don't want to say we have to use the website just because of, I don't know if they're blocked or things like that. So this is probably for us the best solution how we could do it. And then these will be posted and aired on CKMS. So another thing, we got to remember to check out all the CKMS rules and regulations, also CRTC guidelines for anything that we're, for all our podcasts that we're posting. Anyway, hopefully this helps.